I like big trucks, and this one looked cool, so I bought it for a little over $1,000 on eBay in 2003. It had all the tires and wheels, and it rolled. Barely. The truck had sat in a field in Nebraska for over 25 years. However, the truck's body was solid, and it had the PTO-driven hydraulic dump feature still mounted on it. This truck obviously needed some work, so I stripped the truck down completely. Among other things, I found that the engine was seized so badly that it had to be replaced. When I started working on the truck, progress was very slow. At about the time in 2004, I moved from Romeo to South Lyon. The truck was in pieces at this point. Once I was settled, however, the pace picked up. I had the chassis sandblasted and powder coated in Fenton. The body was chemically stripped and painted by me. I wanted the truck to have a rough look, not rat rod, but rather nostalgic, as if I found it in an old garage. Mechanical brakes were just a little uncomfortable to me, so I converted it to hydraulic brakes. In this conversion, a Ford Mercury Restorers Club member was key, as he had the complete front and rear set of axles from a 1941 1.5-ton truck with hydraulic brakes. The spindle required custom kingpins and bushings, but it worked. The rear just bolted on. Once again, it was a rolling chassis. I could see some progress. I then bought a 1948 59A engine from a different club member. He had purchased the engine with a supposed rebuild years earlier. It did turn out to be a fresh rebuild, but with a time bomb in it. The rear main bearing was in backwards, blocking the oil to the two rear cylinders on the crankshaft. It lasted for only about 6 miles of driving. Brothers Customs rebuilt the engine again. At that point, I opted to add shiny heads and an intake manifold. I am a Texaco collector, so I wanted to add something Texaco to the truck. The tank idea came from a truck that I saw in one of my earlier trips to Hershey, Pennsylvania with the club members. I have picked up a few other cans and barrels from other local places, eBay, and our own July swap meet. I finished the truck last in the fall of 2009 and drove it to South Lyon for dinner one night. It was a blistering 40 miles per hour at top end. That's when I knew the original rear end had to go. A club member had the right 1983 Ford F350 full floater that I needed with a 354 gears versus the original 6.67 gears. I had retrofitted all of this in the winter. Now I can go faster without the engine turning 10,000 RPMs. I still have some aesthetic changes to make, but nothing major. I'm a Southern boy from South Carolina, Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida who moved to Michigan 17 years ago. I haven't lost nor want to lose my Southern ways. I have had other classic vehicles in the past, but this was the first one that I basically built from the rubber up. Every nut and bolt, no exceptions, has been redone. The truck isn't quite done yet, and it may never be. The Ford Mercury Restorers Club has been a great source of information in the building of this truck. I finally got to take the truck to the 2011 Woodward Dream Cruise, where I drove it around for a couple of days during the cruise, and on Saturday I got to wear my authentic Texaco uniform. My next project is a 1967 Ford Econoline pickup.